Amber.
Hi, Megan.
Welcome to Bad Movies Rock.
Thank you, Megan. Megan, welcome to Bad Movies Rock, where technically it's still October, so we're gonna do another horror movie, even though this isn't gonna be released into November, and we don't care.
We can't help it. It's not even Halloween yet for us.
It's true. We're still feeling that spooky, ooky spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And gosh darn it, there's so many more mystical, supernatural, spooky things that we could tackle in this run. We've decided to keep unique, you know?
Yeah.
We started with werewolves.
Mm-hmm.
We hit vampires. Went to ghosts.
Yep.
These tropes all have features of the things that we both fear and desire as human people. You know, if you think about it, you know, you've got the werewolves. You know, it's that raw bestial nature. It's not necessarily that you're afraid of wolves themselves so much as like what happens if you give a person that kind of like connection to feral. They're going to eat you is basically.
They're going to eat you.
Yeah. They're going to eat you. They're going to rip you apart and they're going to eat you. And also they're going to be sexy for some reason.
And they're good. Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, if you're not a turned werewolf, if you're a werewolf in human form, you have an unresistible sex appeal, Amber.
Apparently so. That seemed like a new invention. I don't remember other werewolf movies.
Yeah, that was not. Yeah, that is not a thing that's.
It's like, well, they're not vampires, but we still want them to be sexy teens. So, animal magnetism?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Then vampires.
I mean, vampires, as we all know, all vampires are sexy vampires.
Apparently so. Apparently the walking corpse that wants to murder you is just also dead sexy.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
We didn't talk about this, Amber. We didn't talk about why that came about.
Because Gothic writers and romanticism of... Mm-hmm. I mean, there's the whole, like, eternal life, eternal youth thing.
Yep.
And maybe there's something to, like, consuming your lover? Is that anything?
Yeah.
People seem to be into it. I don't know why. It's not really, not to yuck a yum, but if some dude is like, God, you're food. You are food. I want to have sex with you.
Yeah, I want to have sex with you. Delicious, delicious food.
But then I'm gonna eat you probably while we're having sex, and you'll die because I'm eating you.
Yeah.
I feel like because werewolves are more on top of it. Like they will consume all of you, and so I feel like that
it's gross. It's
atavistic
like,
fear. Yeah, it's just like chompy
animalistic and yeah.
It's not that different. I mean, they're drinking your blood, and you need all of that to live.
Yeah.
I don't know, but apparently sexy and scary, but sexy scary.
But yeah, very sexy scary.
I mean, ghosts, that's obvious. We're afraid of death, but we're also afraid of intangible spirits that can harm us and we can't harm them. Something invisible that shows up in your house and can reach into your chest and crush your heart. That's scary.
It is.
Well, it's terrifying. Getting chills just thinking about it.
Yeah, but the nice thing about ghosts is that they can help you scam people.
Also that. Yeah, they're a fantastic tool. So we're also afraid of psychics who have ghosts at their beck and call.
Right.
What if he'd been a bad man?
Oof. Yeah, he was only like on the cusp of keeping it together.
He was a neutral man. What if he'd completely cracked and like he'd found a bunch of Johnny Bartletts and just like sent out a horde of murder ghosts to kill people?
Yeah. Would have been a very different movie, Amber.
Would have been a very different movie. Megan, what terrifying realm of the supernatural are we investigating here today?
Women.
Oh, fucking shit.
It's so scary.
Oh my God. Please tell me they're not empowered.
They're teenagers.
Oh my God. Oh God.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Megan.
Uh-huh.
Why would we give teenage women power?
It's the worst thing you could do.
That sounds like the end of the goddamn world.
Yeah.
Why are you describing the apocalypse to me, Megan? I want to be chilled, not terrified.
Well, we watched The Craft, Amber, so it was horrifying.
Ooh, young women together? Mm-hmm. Outcast young women together. I mean, they're not even like the popular cool ones. They're the weird ones with like scars and not a lot of money.
Yeah.
And some trauma. Ew. And we're just going to let them hang out together and try and find happiness through friendship and empowerment through religion, belief, and actual magic.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
God.
what we're going to do.
Well, I'm sure this turns terribly evil because, women, especially young high school age women, are just horrifying people.
Yeah, it does. Like 3/4 of them go bad.
Of course.
And then one of them kind of holds it together.
Is it through the love of a good man?
It is. Is it through the go?
No, I don't think it is.
No, it's not, right? No,
I have to assume.
It just seemed like it should have been.
Right.
Because,
how does a young woman pull herself out of the nosedive of having so much power and the influence of friends who all also turn it? Like, how could she possibly find the strength to be a good person in the face of that without the love of a good man?
Yeah. She does turn to her mother, her dead mom's picture.
Wait, I'm sorry. She's empowered by...
I know.
By another woman?
Yeah, weird, right?
Huh. Well, okay. Mm-hmm. Where does her power come from?
Her power comes from her mother because her mother was also a witch.
She was a natural witch, but that wasn't enough to fight off the other scary teen witches. Where does she get the power up?
Oh, from Manon?
Mm-hmm. And how is Manon personified, gender-wise?
Yeah, he's personified as a man one.
So it stands!
Yay, it stands.
Thank goodness she didn't do it on her own. Oh my, I was so worried. Oh boy, I'm sorry. Okay, good. I feel comfortable now moving past this. Megan.
Yes, Ember.
Are you ready to play our game?
I am.
The game that you have handily beaten, and so I am adding a new facet to it for a couple of reasons.
Shit. Okay.
Because you've beaten it, we have to keep it fresh. Yeah. And 2, Metacritic and IMDb are still cheating off of each other.
Oh, come on.
So, I will be the third.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Might be some kinks to work out. It might be a little too easy this time around. I will try and make it harder to determine which one I have written in the future. I don't know how well I'm going to do. But Megan.
Yes, Amber.
Can you tell me?
Oh, boy.
Which is which? We've got Metacritic and IMDb is the same one.
Okay.
We will then have Amazon Prime. Mm-hmm. And then we'll have Amber summarizing the movie.
Okay.
Excellent. Are you ready?
Oh, boy. I'm not, but let's do this.
Okay. 14 girls, outsiders in their parochial high school, discover their talent for witchcraft. But when the black magical power goes to their heads, a karmic battle between good and evil ensues! With Neve Campbell.
Okay, Neve Campbell gets just her?
Yep.
Wow.
I mean, you can kind of see it because she's the whole Scream franchise thing, and this is being billed as kind of a horror movie, and so if you're looking it up, you're like, oh, Neve Campbell. Tell me more. Next one. A newcomer to a Catholic prep high school falls in with a trio of outcast teenage girls who practice witchcraft, and they all soon conjure up various spells and curses against those who anger them. I mean, I stumbled a couple of times on that one. I'm sorry, but I feel like you're still feeling it. All right.
Okay.
Last one.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Yeah.
With the help of a troubled newcomer, Sarah, 4 high school outsiders discover the power and fun of witchcraft. Magical hijinks ensue, but by the third murder, Sarah starts thinking maybe their teen girl fun has gotten out of control. Then her friends try to kill her.
I think that last one was you.
How can you tell?
Because it made me laugh.
I feel like it was good.
It was really good.
The first half of it was fine.
Yeah,
And then
the fact that you threw in like a name, an actor's name.
Yeah, it seemed like a nice touch.
It was.
And then I kind of decided to amuse myself instead of actually actively trying to make it hard by the third murder.
She starts to wonder.
Then they try to kill her. I mean, I like that the last sentence felt very Amazon Prime-y to me, just tacking some shit on at the end.
Yep. Lord of the Rings, yeah.
Lord of the Rings. So, okay, fair. The last one is me. But what are the other 2, Megan?
Okay. By the way, I loved that. Let's see here. I think the first one's Amazon and the second is Metacritic IMDb.
That is exactly right.
Yes.
Oh, you're good. I mean, even though you won this game again, we're still going to keep doing it
Oh no, I want this game forever. Yes, please.
Oh God, I don't know how I'm going to write summaries. It's so hard. I like
I know.
mocking other people's summaries, but then when I have to write one.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think that your summary can, it doesn't have to be good. It just has to fall in line with the others.
That's so true.
For trickery.
Exactly.
I mean, depending on what you're trying to do, but yeah.
Would you like to do a summary?
No. I think I'm done. I'm done doing summaries now.
No more summaries.
No, I don't think so.
It's fair. We don't have to.
I think you already did it. We did it 3 times, and the third one was perfect. So
exactly, yeah,
in every way.
So we can just give you our cast of characters.
Okay. Yep.
And set the scene a little bit more. We have 4 talented young actors.
Yes. You sure it's not 3, Amber?
Oh my God! I'm not sure it's not 3, and we will fucking talk about that shit. Our main character, the newcomer to town, Sarah, is played by Robin Tunney.
Yes.
Of The Mentalist fame.
And I can't, for the first half of this movie, I was pretty sure she was an FBI agent who came in to, infiltrate the high school witchery club.
Weed out the Satan worshippers. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
We then have Bonnie, played by Neve Campbell.
Yes.
Of Scream fame. Nancy.
Yeah.
Played by Fairuza Balk.
Yes.
Our young Dorothy from Return to Oz.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I didn't get that.
You've now seen her in 2 horror movies.
Wow. I did not get that.
How she has grown.
Yowza.
It can't be helped, Megan. Maybe that's what she shouted as she pushed Skeet Ulrich out the window.
It can't be helped.
It can't be helped. And then finally, I'm going to do it like everyone else does it when they were advertising for this movie. Rochelle, played by Rachel True.
Yeah.
And then random folks. Skeet Ulrich plays Chris, one of the love interests, and his friend Mitt, played by Breckin Meyer. Other actors that you wouldn't necessarily have heard of, but those are our main characters. Yeah. And it is set in a Catholic high school in Los Angeles. Sarah, Robin Tunney's character, is just moved in from San Francisco and is getting the lay of the land. Encounters Skeet Ulrich early on. Encounters our group of 3 misfits.
Yeah.
Nancy, Bonnie, and Rochelle. And they form a rapid and unlikely bond.
They do.
That leads to magic. And murder.
And murder's most foul, Amber.
And angst.
Yeah, certainly angst for sure, too. Excellent.
Excellent.
Amber, what did the critics have to say about this movie?
It's not as bad as I thought it would be. 55 for Metacritic, 82 for users.
Okay. It's 57 for critics and 65 for audience on Rotten Tomatoes.
Fairly common consensus in the good and the bad reviews was that the 4 cast members, like the 4 main women, were really talented. Like a lot of people were like, oh, they did a great job. They held it together. They had to do most of the work, or good work. It was a lot of cred for Robin Tunney, Fairuza Balk, Rachel True, and Neve Campbell.
Neve Campbell. Yeah. And it's true. They were all very good in this.
But yeah, they felt like the story fell apart to a certain extent at the end. Some of them really liked the subtlety of the effects. Some of them were mad at the effects. They thought it should have been more of a black comedy with a satirical send-up of high school life, like Heathers is word for word from a Philadelphia Inquirer blurb. But they weren't the only one to mention Heathers.
Yes, yeah. Heathers definitely got brought up a bunch.
Yeah. Have you seen Heathers?
I have. That is one I have seen.
I feel like I've seen Heathers too. Is that the one with Winona Ryder? Oh, dang.
And Shannon Doherty.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And Christian Slater.
Oh, yeah.
As the murderer.
Christian Slater. Yeah.
See that?
Exactly.
My problem with comparing this to Heathers. Actually, I have several problems with comparing this to Heathers, but you have an antagonist and a protagonist, and one is a man, one is a woman. And they're actively against kind of mean high school girls. This one is a completely different concept. There is a dude, but he's not an antagonist. It is 4 women in high school dealing with their issues together, plus witchcraft.
Right.
A boy is involved to a certain extent, but he's not a main player. He's not, pushing the narrative. He's a prop more than anything else.
Yeah, he's a plot point more than anything else, yeah.
Absolutely. Which is better to me. This isn't Heathers. This isn't a dark send-up even of high school necessarily. It's more of a send-up of the age that they're at and kind of dealing with issues of stigmas and internalized mental illness and trauma. Like I think it's actually kind of more interesting than what Heathers was doing.
Yep.
Also would probably Bechdel the shit out of Heathers to a certain extent.
Oh yeah, I would imagine so.
I don't know. We'll talk about it. But I think it almost feels like they missed the point. It's just like, oh, it's women in high school, so Heathers. It did a better job. Yeah. Right.
Heather, and it's dark. Like it's not horror-y, just like Heather. I don't know.
There's horror elements, but it's also like the beginning of the movie is a little bit. Yeah. The beginning of the movie is a little bit. There's a supernatural unsettling element to it. But whatever tension there isn't caused by kind of bleak nihilism and sociopathy. Yeah. It's caused by the very real emotional and psychological issues that the women are going through.
Yeah.
And then it kind of spirals into, and what if we gave them magic powers?
Right.
So it's not bleak darkness. It's actually, there's a lot of joy in it. And there is a sense of empowerment in it that's based on potentially like unhealthy desires and meeting them in unhealthy ways. But I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying, Megan.
Yeah. So the one review that I found kind of interesting was that masquerades as a female empowerment film despite prioritizing the toxicity that can be rampant in groups of friends, female or otherwise. Yeah, I see what they're saying.
I definitely do.
I'm not sure that I agree with it. Except that, like, I mean, the toxicity is there.
It is. And I think I agree with it at the end of the movie. Yeah. I think the end of the movie drops the ball and mishandles the story. It mishandles the characters, especially one in particular. It kind of, in order to tell a good versus evil story in a narrative that was at the beginning significantly more complex and gray. They gave us levels to at least 3 of the 4 women.
Right.
That kind of explained where they were coming from and why they might take it to kind of a selfish, destructive, or toxic place. And then it escalates. But they have an option to kind of tell a more complete and more nuanced narrative at the end and instead just go for black and white, good and evil. Mm-hmm. And that, I think, is where the reviewer is right.
Yeah.
But I think the beginning, like I would say, like there was some joy in the beginning. It wasn't fully toxic. It was coming together in the midst of personal pain to find a sense of belonging and support. This movie does some good stuff, I feel like.
It does.
And it does some really cocked up stuff, too.
And then also, yeah.
Let's talk about it. Critics,
let's talk about it.
I feel like you missed the point again.
Yeah, for the most part. For the most part.
Some of them were good. Like, I feel like this one is actually reasonable. It's the New York Times review. It's scored at 70 by Stephen Holden. A surprisingly skittish fable of adolescent powerlessness, grandiosity, and the nursing of psychic wounds. As the witchcraft escalates, the movie exchanges its psychological acuity for garish special effects that hammer home a ponderous warning to once and future witches, be good or else. That, I think, is perfect.
Yeah, I think that's right on.
It's like, it is telling an interesting tale about powerlessness, grandiosity, and nursing psychic wounds. And as it escalates, it then gets way too simplistic.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that's where it falls down.
Yeah. It's got the complexity to begin with and then doesn't know how to end it without going black and white.
And also it has no idea how to deal with black characters.
Oh, no, not at all.
I don't see anybody mentioning that. Or the fact that as you look at the advertising for this movie still, like if you look on the IMDb page, despite the fact that there are 4 stars of this movie who are on all of the visual promotional material, what are the 3 names that are listed on both Amazon, IMDb, and pretty much anywhere else you look?
Well, I'll tell you, it's not Rachel True's name on those.
Yep. The one black actor in this movie who is a star, freaking star, as much as Neve Campbell, Fairuza Balk, and Robin Tunney, is not listed as a star. Mm-hmm. And the way they treat her character is just as telling as her excision from a title role.
Right. Right. And this is something Rachel True has spoken about, especially she did a bunch of interviews like in 2020 about The Craft. And, you know, she said at the time that, you know, she was left off promotional stuff. And then as like they've done like, you know, cast reunions and shit, she was like not invited because no one thought of her, I guess. And like just the extreme amount of it just puts Black actors at this disadvantage that like if you're not recognized for these roles then you're in. And like she was in a role in a horror movie and like that was the big deal. It was a big deal for excuse me, this is 1996 The Crafts, excuse me. And
oh, you monster.
It was a big deal for that, you know, time period, as stupid as that is. And then to treat her like that and to like dismiss her is,
it makes it harder to get further roles. Like you get future roles based on, and all of the actors got props from the critics for this movie. Yeah. So Rachel True should have been able to get just as much bank off of this as Neve Campbell, Robin Tunney, and Fairuza Balk. But if you look at her IMDb credits, that it was 100% not the case.
Yeah.
It matters. Yeah,
it matters. Yeah, absolutely.
And we will get into this. The way they treat her character is such a caricature. Mm-hmm. It is upsetting to watch. And you also looked up the fact that apparently before Rachel True was cast, the character was supposed to have an eating disorder.
Right. It was meant for another white actor.
But when they cast a Black actor, apparently, if you're a person of color, you don't have the same problems as white people. You just have the problem of racism. And that is your only problem. And that's what makes you an outcast.
Right.
I'm not disagreeing with the fact that being the only person of color in a white school is difficult. Mm-hmm. But to then eliminate the idea that we would also be dealing with the same things as the other young women around us on top of the racism,
on top of it, right?
Is to kind of eliminate both our well-rounded humanity and to just be like, well, you're brown, so I guess your only issue is racism. It's like, no, right. I got to deal with the same shit as you, plus that. So thank you.
I'm also a teenager, and that sucks because being a teenager sucks.
But yeah, let's just distill her character down to one girl is really mean to her because she's Black.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, Megan.
Amber.
This was your first viewing.
It was.
Of The Craft. How did you feel watching it?
I felt pretty good for a while. I mean, okay. So like, the coming together of these students, you know, is really kind of fun. I mean, it's a little like up and downy, like they don't just meet and they're instant friends. Like they've got some up and downs, but then they kind of bond, and it's kind of, it's fun and kind of interesting, and I think they do, like, you know, this high school teenage drama pretty well at the beginning.
Yeah. And they introduced some very real hot button issues.
Yeah.
Because you Robin Tunney is Sarah, you know, when she first moved there, you get a sense of kind of, she feels like a little dissociated, a little disconnected. Right. Still seems really self-possessed, holds her own in conversations. And Bonnie, Rochelle, and Nancy are already friends together. And the first you see of them is they're all in uniform because it's a Catholic school, but they have different touches to kind of set them apart. Mm-hmm. Bonnie, Neve Campbell, her hair is kind of lank and in front of her face, and she's covered by a jacket and hunched over. And Fairuza Balk, Nancy, has, you know, necklaces and chains and bright makeup and strides down the hall like, come at me, bro. Well, the other two women flank her. Rochelle's Rachel True is just there.
Yeah. Yeah, she doesn't even have anything that distinguishes her outfit. She just wears the school uniform. Yeah.
There is nothing that distinguishes her from anyone else except, oh, she's black. So
Yeah.
we didn't have to make any different costume changes for her to explain her struggles. Or
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you see them, they're together, people are avoiding them, they seem intimidated by them, but for the most part, Nancy is just abrasive, in your face, angry. And she turns that at Sarah the second Sarah kind of makes any overtures, while Bonnie and Rochelle are kind of more welcoming and interested. And they keep mentioning needing a fourth.
Right.
And so there's a reason for them to reach out to Sarah, both because they need a fourth witch to call the corners and complete their circle, and also because they notice that Sarah appears to already have magical witchy powers as a natural witch.
Yeah.
Which is cool. That's neat.
Yeah.
But in that, while they're getting to know each other, Bonnie notices scars on Sarah's wrists
Yes.
and immediately asks about them. And she's like, oh yeah, I tried to kill myself. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
And Bonnie's response is, you even did it the right way.
Yep.
It's such a... That is a realistic conversation to a certain extent, because it intimates that Bonnie's character herself has likely thought about suicide.
Right. Yeah. It shows a lot in a very few amount of words.
In just a quick exchange, yeah. But there's... And that behind Nancy's bravado and abrasiveness is really insecurity.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Sarah is immediately approached by Chris, Skeet Ulrich's character, who hits on her, but he hits on her after she's already seen his friends. Actually, his friends have already been shitty to her in class.
Yeah, they have.
Like, misogynistically shitty to her in class.
Yeah, real gross.
And so he comes over to kind of apologize to and hit on her, and she snapbacks at him really well. He's like, hey, I wanted to apologize for my friends. They're real assholes. And her response is, you are who you hang with. And he just says, yeah. And then pauses for a minute. He's like, wait
a
did
second.
you just call me an asshole?
You called yourself an asshole because you hang with assholes.
I mean, they're your friends. You can't apologize for the dudes who you just...
I mean, it's very much...
Really?
Yeah. It was in the werewolf movie that, like... The girl has the asshole boyfriend, and she's like, oh, I'm so sorry for him, and then, but still walks off with him.
Yes, Milo Vitmiglia's character.
Yes,
like, oh man, he's such a dick. Well, off I go.
Off I go with him, yeah.
Exactly. It's that sense of... So there's an awareness on Sarah's character that he's probably garbage, but at the same time, she seems really desperate to be liked by him, such that...
Right.
She goes to kind of surreptitiously watch his football practice and grows increasingly kind of interested in having him think well of her.
Right.
Even as Nancy warns her off of him, she still goes to spend time with him and then comes up against the fact that she doesn't want to immediately sleep with him a few hours after meeting him. So then he tells the entire school that they did sleep together and that she was terrible at it.
Yeah.
So he reveals his true colors within 24 hours.
Right. And this from Nancy's own telling, like, she dated him at some point too, and he was also an asshole to her. So he's like, this is his MO. Like, yeah.
And that she's labeled as a whore.
Right. Nancy gets labeled as a whore because, you know, that's how the world works.
Yes, which is one of her social stigmas, is that she's been produced around school as being a slut and a whore. And I think there is even a line where one of them says, with Chris, it's boys will be boys, but there's no equivalent for women.
Yeah.
Insightful.
Mm-hmm. It is.
We're kind of setting up the fact that Sarah's character has had some struggles with mental illness and has attempted suicide, though we don't really know why necessarily. And she does mention having some like terrifying visions that you know would really upset her, and that with her natural witch abilities, she would wish for things and something not great would happen to her. So it's almost like she's at odds with her own desires, and what's happening in her mind is kind of producing a fragility that came out in...
Yeah, it's a monkey's paw situation, Amber. You wish for rain, and the pipe of water bursts above your bedroom and it floods your room.
You wish for quiet and you go deaf for 3 days.
Yeah, exactly.
As she describes it. And Nancy, we, see, well, okay, she's hated in the school, but she's brazen about it. She's not going to shrink away. And then we see her home life, and she's even more powerless there.
Yeah.
Her mom appears to be a drunk. Her boyfriend / stepfather is gross and abusive. Yeah. They live in a trailer. She literally lies back on her bed and has just rain drip on her face from the leaking roof.
Yeah.
It's a really tough, desperate situation for her.
Right.
Bonnie has scars, which is why she's all covered up and hunched over all the time, I guess.
Do we ever find out why?
We don't know. Happened? She has really amazing burn scars. Yeah. Only on her back and like the back of one arm.
Right.
Which you would think that would also produce trauma, because that had to have been an insanely painful thing that happened.
Sure. Yeah.
But we are entirely focused on the superficial nature of
the actual
these horribly disfiguring scars.
Right. Yep.
And she's going through difficult, painful medical procedures with her mother to try and diminish their appearance.
Right. And Rochelle, we see her. No.
Nope, we don't really.
We go home to
Nope, we don't see her home life.
We meet her parents.
Nope, we don't meet her. We don't meet her parents. We don't even actually talk about her at all in the beginning of the movies. We're getting to know these women and their problems. It actually takes a while before she's in swim practice, trying to do a high dive, and one of the other girls is giving her shit.
Yeah,
and then she confronts her in the locker room. Well, and the bully, the racist, is actually played by Christine Taylor.
Yes. Yep.
Like, hey, man, Laura, what's your problem with me? And Laura just flat out says, I don't like negroids, is the word she uses.
Yeah.
So it's not even, there's no subtlety to it. There's no complexity to it. You just have, here is a normal, healthy, attractive, intelligent young woman, but she's black. And this one girl's problem with her is that she's black.
Yep.
So one girl is hateful to her actively solely because she's black.
Right.
And that's what's driven her to outcast status. And that's her only story. That's it. That's all there is to Rochelle. Racism, somebody's being racist to her. That is the only, everything else is fine with her, but racism.
Yeah. We get nothing from her. Like all we learn about Rochelle is how people treat her. Like we don't learn anything about Rochelle herself.
Nope.
Which is that's like the racism focuses on the racist. Mm-hmm. Like it's extra special. Like what's her name gets more lines than Rochelle does in most of those scenes.
Yeah, Laura, the racist is Laura. And it even focuses on the racist's pain.
Yeah.
When it comes to each of them essentially make a wish and have a desire for things to change in their lives moving forward. And Rochelle's wish is, I would like to not hate the people that hate me.
Yeah.
Wow. That is really a selfless wish. That's amazing. That's fantastic. And it's just the one person too. Even if they'd even made it larger than that, if it had kind of been a school attitude, if you'd shown teachers, if you'd shown other students, but they make it one toxic person, which also narrows the experience down to, well, she can't put up with one mean girl.
Yeah, there's just one bully. Yeah.
There's just one bully. That's the only racism in her life. And also racism is the only thing in her life.
Uh-huh.
But when it comes down to Laura getting her comeuppance, it focuses on her pain. She starts losing her hair when she continues to be mean to Rochelle. And it shows Rochelle's horror at seeing what's happening to her. It shows the humanity of like her pain as she doesn't know why her hair is falling out, and it's really sad, and Rochelle is terrified and freaked out. And there's a moment at a party where Laura actually comes up to her wearing a wig.
Yeah.
And starts to talk to her in a kind way.
Yeah.
And then we cut away.
We don't have any, we never go back to that. And that's...
It almost seems mid-dialogue that we cut away from a moment where there could be a connection, there could be an apology, there could be Laura acknowledging the humanity of Rochelle and her mistake, and Rochelle having a choice to reject or accept that apology. Like, give me anything for Rochelle's story that I'm already unsatisfied for, and you had a
Right.
moment, and then you literally fucking cut away from it, and we never look at Laura again.
Never look at Laura, and Rochelle never talks about it. Like it's not ever talked. Yeah, it's just dropped. It's totally dropped. Any of the
And Rochelle herself seems kind, seems smart, seems open, to the extent that she doesn't actually want bad things to happen to Laura. When they're casting the spell that would cause her hair to fall out, she's asking, well, what will happen to her? And they're like, well, nothing, as long as she leaves you alone. Yeah. And she seems truly shaken by seeing what comes about with her wish.
Right.
But after showing us that, she's just 100% on board for Nancy's craziness.
Yeah.
She just becomes a mean girl.
Right.
How?
Yeah.
Why?
They've taken all of her agency away. All of it.
I guess she's just a follower now. Okay. I guess Rochelle is now an accessory to Nancy. Cool.
Yeah.
And Bonnie does the same thing, but that seems more in Bonnie's character. Because Bonnie's wish is she wants to be pretty on the inside and out, but mostly on the outside because the scars define her. In her mind, the scars define her. Mm-hmm. So when they go away, she suddenly wears different clothes that show her back and her body, and her hair is out of her face, and her shoulders are back, and she feels pretty.
Yep.
And then she becomes nasty.
And then she becomes mean. Yeah. Which is something that Robin Tunney, Sarah, actually says to her, is you were so nice, and now. And
then Bonnie just laughs at her. And you can kind of understand that to a certain extent, to suddenly have the thing that you thought was holding you back go away, and you just go a little mad. You go a little crazy. It's I can be whatever I want now. I don't have to be a nice girl because the pretty girls were never nice to me. I can be nasty. I can do what I want because look at how I look. Bow chicka bow bow.
Yep.
Okay, fine. It is a bit of a caricature, but it's one that is almost earned through. Yeah. My wish was I want to be pretty. Mm-hmm. On the inside and out, but mostly on the outside. I'm not asking to change anything about myself internally. I want external changes. And I think there's a lesson there in that it's not that is defining you. It's not that's holding you back from happiness. It's your own perception of it. And to be fair, people can be horrible and that shapes your perception of yourself. But
absolutely.
But it makes more sense that she would succumb to the powerful personality of Nancy.
Right. Yeah. And again, her story and all of those complex feelings are much more
present in the narrative.
Present and there than anything about Rochelle.
Yep. Exactly. So finally, of the bad girls, the ones who go bad, we have Nancy. We've seen quite a bit of her home life.
Yep.
What were you going to say?
Oh, I was just going to say that she wants something simple as her wish, Amber.
Oh, Jesus.
She wants just a little tiny thing.
She wants the power of a god?
Yeah.
She wants god power.
Yeah.
That's her wish.
Yep.
So
that's her wish.
There's a spirit called Manon, who is kind of neither good nor evil, but literally the power of all nature to a certain extent. And she just wants that to fill her, and so she can have all the power.
Yeah. It's easy. It's simple.
Simple and easy.
Yeah.
In order to accomplish that, it takes all 4 of them. Mm-hmm. And then she just goes bug nuts.
Yeah.
She apparently taking all of that power to, as we're told by, there's a witch that they're constantly stealing from who has a store.
Right.
And she informs Sarah that Nancy takes all that power to a dark place, and that's why she is murdering people. Yeah, she murders her stepfather. To be fair, he was getting violent with her mom.
Yeah.
And it didn't seem fully intentional. It kind of seemed like she was really mad and she was acting out of anger.
Yeah.
And so he had a heart attack.
Yeah. And very much she got this power, and that was her whole purpose with these 4, with the 4 friends. Her purpose was to get this power. Mm-hmm. Good. We got our 4th witch, and so now we've got the 4 corners, and now I got my power, and now, well, anyway, fuck you, Sarah.
Exactly. Well, fuck you, Sarah, and fuck anybody who's not with me. I will kill you. But Nancy, it does make sense though. If you kind of, you have to kind of fill in the cracks of the narrative, but they give you the elements to kind of tell the story of she feels completely powerless. She thinks the thing that will fix it is to have more power than everyone around her.
Yep.
But if what you're really dealing with is like deep psychological issues, giving your, like similar to what happens with Bonnie, giving yourself all of that power isn't going to change the trauma and the pain.
Yeah.
And so as you find yourself still spiraling, despite getting exactly what you wanted, you're going to continue to thrash around.
Yeah.
And just make shit happen. Be the aggressor for once. Make other people hurt. Maybe that will make you feel better.
Yeah. No, it's well earned. Like the besides Rochelle, like the things that the characters want and the complexity of kind of the wishes that they make and kind of how it turns is all very interesting. Like it's this is the complex part of the movie that's interesting and fun in a lot of ways.
Absolutely. I think so. Like it's because then you turn to Sarah's character, who has natural gifts, but is really ambivalent about them to the extent that she tried to kill herself. She hates herself. Like that's a level, and her wish is literally, I would like not to hate myself.
Yeah.
And I'd like this boy to like me.
Yeah.
And she's still, just like the other characters, to a lesser extent Rochelle, because her story isn't well developed.
Yeah.
She recognizes an internal problem. I mean, Nancy doesn't recognize the internal problem. That's the issue. But like she recognized, I hate myself. Mm-hmm. But then she tacks on to the end of that wish, and I wish this boy would like me.
Yeah.
Almost if somebody else can love me and find value in me, then maybe I'll be able to find value in myself.
See it in myself, yeah.
And that's what starts the love spell against Chris, Skeet Ulrich. And that leads to some dark shit. And she is, at first, she's amused by it because he turns into a fucking puppy.
Yeah. And at first, the idea for me of her wish being that this guy liked her was kind of like, oh, come on. Like, the girl's got a wish for a guy to like her. Ugh. And then it does become amusing, like you say. Like, she fucks with him. Like, carry these books. You know, like...
Don't talk to your friends. Sit at this pew. Be a good boy. Pay attention to the sermon. And he does. He does these things.
He does all those things.
And it's really funny because of how much power he took away from her by telling people lies about her, by treating her like she is worthless, to confirming everything she thinks in her head already. Right. To then have that power over him...
Yeah.
Feels really good right up until he shows up outside of her house and is like, hey, I can't stop thinking about you. I think I'm in love with you, which is weird because I don't love anyone but my mom and this little puppy I had one time. And she's like, I this is weird. I think we should move in together. I'm not ready for that.
Yeah.
He's hurt by this. He's meshed up. He's damaged. This isn't healthy. And she wants to end it. And the good shop witch who mentors Sarah a bit is like, you can't end it. It just has to run its course. And he suffers. Like it's obsession. It's not love. Yeah. It is obsession that leads to sexual assault.
Yep.
He tries to straight up rape her.
Yes, he does.
And this is when the movie starts to turn.
And then it gets, because then Sarah goes to her friends. She tells them what's up, and Nancy walks out of there saying he has to pay.
So we're worried, she's going to murder him.
She's going to kill him.
She's going to use all of her magic god powers to murder, because she already hates Chris.
Yeah.
So she's going to kill him.
No, Amber, she does not do that. What she does is she ends up trying to seduce him first as herself, and then she uses, what do they call it?
Glamour.
Glamour, thank you. To look like Sarah and sleep with him. So that'll teach him.
Okay.
That'll teach him, Amber.
So as Rochelle, Bonnie, and Sarah show up to stop her from presumably murdering him, they walk in on not his murder, but active sex.
Yeah. Yeah, they do.
Okay. And what's her reasoning for this?
That it'll humiliate him? Is that what she says? Something?
Yeah, I guess. Well, I think that's what Sarah says. Once she, because Nancy turns back into Nancy and she's like, good job, you've humiliated him. But Nancy makes something like, but I'm helping him because he's so obsessed with you and now he gets to think he has sex with you, so maybe it'll help. It's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know what they were going for in this scene.
I guess the like backstory is that like Nancy was so hurt by Chris earlier because she was, they were in some sort of relationship, whatever that was, and she still loved him or something. And
that bothers me because her problems are so much more complex than that. Like it shouldn't. Her obsession, two of them being obsessed with the same boy and having Nancy crack in this scene. Yeah. She's been crumbling.
Yeah. She's not okay at this point. Yeah.
Yes. Chris's ultimate rejection of her cracks her. And she throws him out a window.
Yep.
And murders him. He's dead.
But yes. Yeah.
She murders him. He is dead, and the four of them were in the room when he died.
Yeah.
The cops talked to them, but I guess nobody's being charged with his murder. But yeah. So this is... At this point, Sarah's like, maybe we've gone too far.
Yeah, just maybe.
I think I don't want to hang out and do magic with you anymore.
Yeah. I'm just going to back up to the first time that they are really hanging out, the four girls, and the four women, excuse me. And there's a person that chases down Sarah with a snake.
Yes.
And they all wish for him to die. And then he gets hit by a car and he dies.
Definitely dies.
So their relationship begins with a murder. It looks like he's chasing her. He walks into the street, but they all wished for it, and they talk about it later. Like I wished for him to die. Did you wish for him to die? Yeah, I did.
I did wish for him to die. Now we can make stuff happen. Let's be friends and be witches. Their friendship is cemented with murder.
Yeah. So like this.
This is the third murder.
Yep. Exactly right. Yeah. And like the summary says, Amber, at the third murder, Sarah finally says, maybe this isn't for me.
Maybe no.
Yeah.
Her response is actually very healthy. She's afraid that all of the power that Nancy has imbibed is too much, and so she tries to do a binding spell so she can't hurt herself or anyone else.
Right.
It doesn't work because Nancy's superpowered right now, and Sarah's just a measly natural witch.
Yeah.
She's got juice, but not enough juice.
Yeah.
Nancy's response to Sarah's betrayal...
Oh, yeah, is totally, like, even keeled, balanced, and... Yep.
Yep. No, actually, sorry, it's not.
Oh.
She uses Sarah's admission of, like, her greatest fear, the terrible visions of snakes and bugs everywhere, and makes her think that's actually happening, while simultaneously making her think that her father and stepmother died in a plane crash. It was her fault because they got on a plane thinking she had ran away to San Francisco, and they were trying to find her.
Yep.
And then they show up at her house, and Nancy literally slits her wrists.
Yeah.
After telling her to go kill herself.
Yeah. It's a prank, Amber.
It's just a prank, Megan. And Bonnie and Rochelle are just there.
Yeah, they're just there, like, providing, I don't know, backup.
Moral support. They don't love what's happening, but they're not mad at it, and they're not really trying to stop Nancy.
Yeah. It got bad so quickly, Amber.
It broke so bad, so fast.
Yeah.
Because Sarah didn't want to be friends with them anymore. Or even, like, she just wanted to back off from doing the murder spells.
She just didn't want to murder anybody anymore. Like, it was a relatively, I thought, reasonable request.
It's one thing for a man chasing me who I think means me harm to be hit by a car and we whoopsie killed him. It's another thing for a man who is actively trying to abuse your mother and threatening you to, be killed by your brain, potentially unintentionally. But it is something quite different to toss a boy out a window.
It is, yeah.
And keeping in mind, this boy had that night attempted to sexually assault her.
Right. Yeah. And
this movie gets so weird.
Yeah, it does.
But then it becomes a witch battle.
Yeah, then it's witch battle time, Amber.
Sarah invokes the spirit, believing that because she will not bring it to a dark place, she will be able to have the power without going bug nuts. And she does.
Yeah, she does.
It's fine.
It's fine. Yeah.
I mean, there's special effects, which are kind of cool.
Yeah, there's some kind of like, melding into the floor kind of shit and
Floating and
yeah, it's fine.
glamour.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, she scares off Bonnie and Rochelle by making them think that all of their bad deeds are coming back to them threefold.
Right. Which is what they were warned by the witch at the store. It's
Mentor witch.
Yeah.
Bonnie thinks, oh, her scars are back and worse, and Rochelle thinks her hair is falling out. I'm not sure how that's threefold. It's just the exact same as what happened to Laura.
Yeah, pretty much.
But, Bonnie's is threefold because they were just on her back and now they're on her face.
Yeah.
It's terrifying. So they run screaming from the house, leaving Nancy to try and murder Sarah on her own.
Yeah. It's yeah.
Well...
Yeah, and then Sarah wins. Sarah ends up actually being able to do that binding spell of not of Nancy not hurting herself.
No more magic, Nancy.
No more magic, Nancy.
And Bonnie and Rochelle also lose their mojo. But Nancy winds up institutionalized.
Yep.
Which is rough.
Which is hard. Yeah.
And Rochelle and Bonnie approach Sarah and they're like, hey girl, hey. So
like, we just want to hang out. Like let's hang out.
But first,
and also
that whole thing where like we made you think your dad was dead. That was just that was just a glamour. That's just a prank. This is a prank.
Right. They say this to her as her dad is like walking behind her saying hi. It's like, oh, it was he's not really just a ghost dad?
That was hilarious. Yeah, and the whole making me hallucinate the thing that made me try and kill myself the first time was also just, silly. You just used a secret that I told you in confidence to, like, bind us and connect us to hurt me, literally to try and convince me to try to kill myself. And when that didn't work... You also helped Nancy quite literally slit my wrists for me. And if I hadn't invoked the spirit and it healed me, I probably would have bled out upstairs.
Yep.
Cool. So we're cool. You want to hang out again and do spells because your magic isn't working anymore? Oh, no, thank you.
Yeah.
And they turn around and walk away and you think they're cowed until I think it's Rochelle's like, she probably doesn't have magic anymore either. Oh, why did you do this to Rochelle's character?
I know.
At which point, Sarah calls up a storm and lightning smacks into a tree limb and it falls directly on where Bonnie and Rochelle were standing. And they jump out of the way. And Sarah's like, don't fuck with me.
Yep. The end.
It's a cool, empowering moment. Sarah.
Yeah.
The good part is Sarah's character arc is actually pretty good.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It goes from like uncertainty, self-hatred to finding, friendship and companionship to be like, oh, shit has gone weird. I hate myself. Maybe I should kill myself. I'm a terrible person. They're doing all of these things to make me crazy, but maybe I am crazy. But then she finds the power within herself by, accepting a male spirit into her who gives her more power. But still, she accepts that she herself will not take it to a dark place. Mm-hmm. And that she doesn't need other people to prop her up necessarily if they are toxic.
Yeah.
So that's
lovely.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's empowering.
Mm-hmm.
And there were some cool, cute little sleepover moments when they were becoming friends, eating popcorn on the floor, playing light as a feather, stiff as a board, shoplifting from a store.
Yeah. Walking, like, someone said that, like, the more confident they got, the more powers they got, the shorter their skirts got.
Not wrong. They did
not untrue.
They walked around the high school with their shoulders back and their legs out. Mm-hmm. Feeling themselves.
Yep, blowing kisses.
And Fairuza Balk added a candy necklace to her spiked dog collar.
Yeah.
The aesthetic was very 90s, which was lovely. Big, chunky heel shoes and, lots of jewelry, the lipstick and things. And
yeah, very 90s for sure.
Very, very 90s. Loved that candy necklace with a dog collar, though. That was lovely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Amber.
Yes, Megan.
On the rock scale, regrettable, outstanding, crazeballs, or K, what would you rate this movie?
This is a tough one because it's none of them.
It's a tough one. Yeah.
It's none of them. It's not K.
I mean, that can't really be because it's a perfect scale. But go on.
Scale is perfect. It's so finely tuned to grasp the nuances of. Because it's not outstanding.
No.
But it's not really crazeballs either.
No, not really.
It's not K. It's better than K.
It's mostly better than K.
And there are parts of it that are definitely regrettable. I think the
Yeah.
entire treatment of Rochelle's character, her story, her arc, her trauma and social stigma are really poorly handled. And I would say that to a certain extent, especially with Nancy Fairuza character, mental illness is not well handled.
No, it is not. No.
At all.
Yeah.
It's terrible. Especially like showing her writhing strapped to a bed at the end. No, thank you.
Yeah. No, you're right.
It turns trauma into evil, essentially.
Yes. Yes, that's exactly right.
And that's troubling. Mm-hmm. I guess it's K. Like if you muddle it all together, it's K. Mm-hmm. But there's some interesting elements to it. And I loved this movie in the 90s because, not a lot of movies with women in them, not a lot of movies with black actors in them. And this is like all female cast. It was relatable to a certain extent for me for lots of reasons. Because I was a high school age girl with my own issues, significant amounts of mental illness. Like it was nice to see somebody who had thought about and or attempted suicide come out of things okay.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
But yeah, there are nice elements to this, and I think it falls apart quite a bit at the end and with some of the things that they do with Rochelle.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's K?
Yeah. Perfect.
Excellent.
The rock scale wins again.
No, it does not. It's broken everything. Mm-hmm. Megan.
Yes, Amber.
Do Anissa's story.
Amber, so I usually read Abby a bedtime story during the week. And this time, Abby read me a bedtime story.
Did she, though?
That's the thing. Yeah, Abby is I mean, she's coming along with her reading just fine. She's 4. But she's also able to memorize things very, very well. And so essentially she just recited the book to me.
Perfectly from memory.
Which was still adorable.
Oh, yes. That is very adorable. I love when the page turning is superfluous.
Oh, yeah. The page, yeah. I think it every once in a while reminds her of things. And the words that she really wanted to sound out were the blork and blurf. All the silly words she actually spent time reading.
Of course.
Great.
The ones that she won't actually come across in any other book.
Exactly right.
Perfect.
Yep. Pretty adorable.
Mm-hmm.
Amber, do you have a recommendation?
Every time with this. Okay, October, horror movies. People will be done with Halloween at this point, so let's recommend a horror movie. Megan.
Yes, Amber.
I guess it can be for next year.
Okay.
Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Tucker and Dale I don't know this one.
Oh, we should watch it. I feel like you'd like it. It stars Alan Tudyk and Tyler Labine.
Ooh, okay. Yes.
And you would remember Tyler Labine from Reaper.
Okay. Is he the friend?
He's the friend. And then he's also the sheriff in the second season of Dirk Gently.
Yes, that's right.
I really like Tyler Labine.
Yeah.
I like it. It's a good kind of silly, dark horror movie where Tucker and Dale are sort of, hillbillies. I think of them as, Vermonters. And they're out, dealing on vacation at their mountain cabin, and some like preppy, annoying college students mistake them for like Texas Chainsaw Massacre hillbilly Hills Have Eyes people. Like these preppy kids think that Tucker and Dale, who are just nice guys on vacation, are there to murder them.
Excellent.
And then it escalates and the kids start dying.
Yep.
And like misunderstandings happen. It is amusing, and it's also well executed, sort of not too gory gore, accidental deaths, and it's amusing. It's Alan Tudyk and Tyler Labine in a dark comedy horror movie. I highly recommend it. I have it. We'll watch it.
Okay, let's do that then.
We could do that right now. Halloween is tomorrow. We could start watching it at midnight.
Yeah.
Excellent. Megan.
Okay. Yes, Amber.
Do you have a recommendation?
I'm going to recommend a movie that I might have recommended before.
Gotta update that list.
Cabin in the Woods, Amber.
That's a good one.
It is a good one. It is a movie.
Is it a movie? It's a movie, you say. You're recommending a movie?
Yeah. I don't want to say too much about it. If you haven't seen it for some unknown reason, I think you should just watch it. It's these teenagers go out for a vacation weekend in a cabin in the woods. What more do you think could happen to them?
Oh man, young teenagers, cabins, woods, horror.
Yeah.
Look at us go. We didn't even talk about this beforehand.
Perfect.
We're so good at this. Megan, this has been delightful. I'm excited. We're going to watch a fun movie. I don't even have to tell you to have a good weekend this year because we're going to watch a good movie and that will make us have a good weekend for the year.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Excellent. Well, this has been fun. Goodbye.
Okay, and I'll just close like I always do by saying we should build with the rocks we have.
I want to build with rocks you have.
Nope.
I don't want to use my rocks. I want your rocks.
No, they're
your rocks
mine.
are better than mine.
I'm
Why are you making me build with
these.
different rocks?
They're mine.
Oh, I see. So you know they're better than my rocks. That's why you're telling me to be satisfied with the rocks I have when you have better rocks. You only tell me to be satisfied with what I have when you want to hold on to the shit that you have. This is some bullshit. This is share your fucking rocks.
I'm building with my rocks, Amber.
Share your rocks.
I can't share them. I'm building with them.
Unequal distribution of rocks. Don't make me fucking Nancy you right now.
Oh, God.
Yeah, give me your rocks.
Okay, you can have my rocks.
Or I will convince you that your parents are dead.
And throw me out a window.
And throw you out a window. Share your rocks.
Bye, Amber.
Bye, Megan.